So in this video, we are going to talk about the corporate finance, one of the hot topics, which is NPV, and how to solve the MCQ questions. One of the common questions that we see in exam is related to the cash outflows or inflows in a particular year of the project or the final year cash flows of the project. So here is my technique that I apply mostly. It is called what was, and I'll explain what this actually is on the next page. So let's have a look at the one of the questions. D Limited is considering a 10-year capital investment project with revenues of 40,000 per year and cash operating expense at 29,000 per year. Initial cost is 23,000 and entry expects to sell the equipment for 9,000 at the end of 10th year. And the equipment will be depreciated for 7 years, which means that after 7 years, there will not be any tax shield or tax advantage, and the machinery will be totally depreciated. The project requires a working capital investment of 7,000 at the inception and another 5,000 at the end of year 5, which means that both of these working capital investments will be returned in the final year of the project. Assuming a 40% marginal tax rate, the expected net cash flow from project in the 10th year is. So here in this question, we can apply the ought was. So the ought was actually stands for O is for the outlay, A is the annual net cash flows, revenues and expenses. Then this is the T stands for the tax shield, W is the working capital, and another O is related to any other expenses you might have seen. Other questions like if there is a marketing expense in a particular year, or if there is a expense to dismantle the project, something like that. And the final one is the S, which is salvage value. So let's have a look how we can apply ought was to this question. Here is the table that I have so when I'm attempting this question in exam, I would quickly write ought was in a column, and then I would, for against each of these, I will write the numbers if they are applicable. So this question is specifically asking for cash flows from 10th year. So I know that in the 10th year, which is the terminal year of the project, there will not be any initial outlay. So that would be NA, or you can say 0. The other is A, which is net annual cash flows. So I know that the revenues are 40,000 here and the operating expenses are 29,000. So the net of these two, which is 11,000, is the annual net cash flows. But then all of these numbers on the ought was approach have to be net of tax. So we will take out the tax portion of it. So basically taking out the 40% tax, it is equal to 6.6K. And then the T is the depreciation tax shield. As I said before, the question, there will not be any depreciation after year 7. So tax shield is not applicable. So again, this is 0. For the working capital part, because we invested 7,000 at the start and then another 5,000 at the end of the 5 years. So both of these 7,000 plus 5,000, $12,000 will be returned in the final year. 12,000. And then if there are any other expenses, but the question does not have any specific information about if there were any other expenses, that this is again 0. And then the final is the salvage value. So we know we'll be getting 9,000 for this equipment at the end of 10th year. So, but that would be the cash inflow, but we have to pay for the tax. So we make it the net of tax number. So taking out 40% of 9,000, and that equals to 5.4K. So when you add all of this, you'll get your answer, which is $24,000. And why I apply this approach? Because in your exam, you will not have enough time to basically create the whole NPV table and then all the numbers in there. So if you use this list of what was, you can list down everything. And then the second best side of this approach is that you don't have to specifically remember if you considered the tax, if you considered the salvage value, or if you considered working capital. You can simply write this and you can be sure that once you consider all of these factors, you must have included all the factors from your question, and you will have your answer if you do all of these steps correctly.